Welcome, beautiful damsels. The rarest love isn't found in the crowd, it's created in the quietest places between two individuals who never needed it to feel whole. Here's the truth. Not every man can catch the attention of a Sigma woman, and even fewer can keep it. Sigma women are wired differently. They're self-sufficient, fiercely independent, and not about to settle for just anyone. They're drawn to something deeper, something exceptional. Statistics show that people are drawn to what they can't easily understand, and nothing is more puzzling or intriguing than the connection between a Sigma woman and the one man she'll allow herself to fall for. So who is this rare man? What qualities must he possess to spark her interest and earn her respect? Spoiler, it's not about his looks, his money, or his charm. It's something far less obvious, but infinitely more potent. Let's dive in and uncover the kind of man who can genuinely capture the heart of a woman who's never been interested in being captured. And hey, buckle up. This isn't your average love story. It's going to be honest. It's going to be revealing. And maybe, just maybe, a bit shocking. Number 1, a man who masters his own mind. The only kind of man a Sigma woman will ever truly fall for is one who's mastered his own mind. This isn't about being calm or simply having it together. It's about someone who has faced his own thoughts, wrestled with his insecurities, and come out stronger, like a mental ninja who's already fought his toughest battles and won. He's the kind of man who doesn't crumble under pressure or lose his cool just because life throws him a curveball. He's not carried away by the next shiny object or dragged into every drama around him. No, he's mentally rooted, solid as a rock. For a Sigma woman, this is pure gold. She can't be bothered with a guy who's constantly in need of validation or panics over small stuff. She wants someone who's self-assured and stable, someone who doesn't need others to tell him he's okay, because he already knows. In fact, he probably laughs at how ridiculous some things are, even his own mistakes, which keeps him from taking life too seriously. He has this quiet confidence that's rare to find and impossible to fake. A vibe that says, I've been through my own chaos and I'm fine. And sure, he has insecurities. Who doesn't? But instead of covering them up or ignoring them, he works on them day by day without fanfare. To a Sigma woman, this is irresistible. She finds it captivating to be with a man who's in control of himself and isn't easily rattled. In a world full of people chasing every trend or needing constant attention, this guy is steady, a rare find. To her, it's as if he's mastered an art most haven't even heard of. It's the kind of strength that feels like freedom, and that's exactly what keeps her interested. Number 2, independent, but knows the art of interdependence. A Sigma woman isn't looking for a man who's clingy or always wants to be joined at the hip. She's drawn to someone independent, someone who knows who he is and stands confidently on his own. But here's the twist. He also understands something deeper, the art of interdependence. That's right, he's cracked the code on how to be fully independent, while also knowing the value of truly connecting with another person. He doesn't need her to complete him, but he appreciates what a strong partnership can bring to his life. This isn't about codependency or needing someone to lean on all the time. Instead, he understands that a relationship isn't about giving up his individuality. It's about two individuals who each bring something to the table. He's the guy who doesn't shy away from vulnerability but doesn't drown in it either. He knows how to share his life without losing himself in someone else's. For a Sigma woman, this is a breath of fresh air. She's used to people either leaning on her too hard or keeping her at arm's length, so a man who knows how to balance independence with connection? Now that's rare. In fact, his ability to stand on his own while also valuing a true bond is what keeps things intriguing. It's like he has this unspoken confidence that says, I'm here because I want to be, not because I need to be. And that kind of attitude, well, that's magnetic. For her, it feels like she's finally found someone who gets it. Someone who won't stifle her independence, but also won't leave her feeling like they're in a casual, solo but together arrangement. It's the perfect mix. Someone who's solid alone, yet open to the magic that happens when two strong individuals choose to walk the same path side by side. Number 3, deep thinker, not an intellectual echo. Sigma women are allergic to shallow thinking and superficial chatter. They don't want someone who just nods along to whatever's trending or parrots popular opinions without question. The kind of man who grabs her attention is a deep thinker, a guy who's genuinely curious and isn't afraid to go down a few intellectual rabbit holes even if it leads him somewhere unexpected. He doesn't rely on easy answers or obvious truths. Instead, he challenges assumptions, questions the status quo, and isn't afraid to have an opinion that's his own, even if it's not the most popular one. For her, this is like discovering a hidden gem. This guy isn't just interesting, he's refreshing. He doesn't jump onto every bandwagon, and he's not obsessed with looking woke or impressing people with his knowledge. His thoughts are his own, crafted from real curiosity and a willingness to dig a little deeper. He can get lost in a book, a documentary, or just his own thoughts and come back with insights that make her sit up and listen. And it's not that he's trying to be some intellectual giant. He just genuinely enjoys thinking beyond the surface. Here's the kicker. He's not preachy about it. He doesn't feel the need to educate everyone around him or flaunt his insights. He shares his thoughts honestly, with a sort of humble confidence that's rare to find. For a Sigma woman, this is magnetic. She's finally met someone who's not just regurgitating facts or quoting random philosophers to sound smart. Instead, he's the real deal, a thinker, not just a talker. And it's this ability to think for himself, to see the world in a way that feels genuinely different, that makes him stand out. He doesn't just keep up with her intellect, he adds to it, giving her a reason to stay intrigued and invested. That kind of authenticity, it's pure gold in her eyes. Number 4, emotionally tactical and non-reactive. A Sigma woman values emotional depth and intelligence, but what really makes a man stand out to her is emotional tacticality. This isn't just about maturity or being in touch with his feelings, it's about knowing how and when to engage emotionally with intention. The man she's drawn to doesn't get pulled into drama, doesn't take the bait when people try to provoke him, and certainly doesn't indulge in emotional games. Instead, he's observant, calculating, and completely unshaken in situations that would have most people reacting in a heartbeat. He reads people like an open book, including her. He can sense when she needs space, when she's holding something back, and when she needs someone to push her gently out of her comfort zone. He doesn't jump in to fix her problems or make things right. He respects her independence too much for that. Instead, he offers a steady, unwavering presence that allows her to feel safe, even when she's grappling with her own emotions. It's not that he's detached, he cares deeply, but he's deliberate, choosing his responses carefully, knowing that a calm approach often speaks louder than any grand emotional gesture. This kind of emotional steadiness is magnetic for a Sigma woman, who herself avoids unnecessary drama and appreciates a man who can remain centered no matter what. She's used to people who get rattled by her intensity or who feel the need to match her strength. But this man, he doesn't feel threatened or need to prove anything. He's simply there, strong and calm, acting as a grounding force. For her, his non-reactivity is a breath of fresh air in a world full of people who respond impulsively. His presence feels like an anchor, not because he tries to control her, but because he knows himself so well that nothing can easily shake him. And with that foundation, she knows she can trust him. A rare and priceless feeling for someone who usually stands firmly on her own. Number 5, unintimidated by her self-reliance. A Sigma woman needs a man who genuinely values her independence, not as a nice bonus, but as an essential part of who she is. She's not interested in someone who feels the need to be the hero, nor does she want a partner who's passive or indifferent to her self-reliance. The only man she'll fall for is one who recognizes her strength as an asset, a trait that makes her all the more intriguing and valuable in his eyes. This man is secure enough to appreciate her drive and self-sufficiency without feeling sidelined. He doesn't see her ambition or independence as a threat to his masculinity or his role in the relationship. Instead, he's drawn to it, understanding that a woman who can hold her own isn't a rival. She's a partner of equal footing. To him, her independence doesn't mean she's closed off. It means she's got her own life, her own goals, and the confidence to pursue them. And rather than making her less appealing, it shows him that she's someone who adds value to his life without trying to take it over. He knows he can trust her to handle her own challenges, And he's there for support, not to control. Her independence is a breath of fresh air because he knows she won't cling or try to mold herself into what she thinks he wants. She's not looking for validation or a constant stream of reassurance. And that suits him perfectly, because he's not looking for someone to depend on him for everything. He sees her drive as something that aligns with his own goals and ambitions, not something that takes away from it. For her, this is the ultimate compatibility. A partner who's intrigued by her independence and respects it, someone who's confident enough to let her be who she is without getting in the way or trying to shape her into a more manageable version. It's a bond that lets both of them keep their individuality while building something truly solid together. Number 6, values truth over comfort. A Sigma woman has little patience for people who sugarcoat, sidestep, or tell her what they think she wants to hear. She's not looking for comfort wrapped in half-truths or politeness that hides what's real. The man who earns her respect and affection is someone who values honesty over convenience, even if that honesty stings. He's not out to soften every blow or make everything sound nice. Instead, he's rooted in a straightforward, respectful honesty that shows he trusts her strength and resilience. This kind of man doesn't shy away from difficult conversations or awkward truths. He knows that the easy path, glossing over issues or keeping things smooth, is ultimately shallow. For him, honesty isn't a weapon. It's a way of building something real. If something's bothering him, he'll say it. If he sees something she needs to hear, he'll tell her without hesitation. He's not worried about making himself more likable or about her reaction. He's more interested in maintaining a foundation built on truth. For her, this radical honesty feels like freedom. It shows her that he respects her enough to handle the tough stuff and trusts her to not fall apart at the first sign of discomfort. In a world where people often dance around each other's feelings, afraid to rock the boat, his directness is both refreshing and grounding. She knows he won't manipulate her or keep her in the dark. And it's this straightforwardness that makes her feel truly valued. He sees her as an equal, someone who deserves the full truth, not just the convenient version. That kind of respect cuts through the noise and deepens her trust, knowing that, with him, there's no guessing game, no hidden motives, just two people being real with each other, no matter what. That's a foundation she can lean on, a trust she doesn't find every day, and a bond that makes everything else feel worthwhile. Number 7. He's building something bigger other than himself. For a Sigma woman, the ultimate attraction isn't in grand gestures or romantic clichés. It's in the man who has a vision bigger than himself. She's looking for someone who isn't just drifting through life or aiming for comfort and stability alone. The man who truly draws her in is someone who's building something meaningful, with purpose and ambition that goes beyond personal gain. He's not just interested in the idea of a relationship. He wants a partnership that aligns with his own legacy, his mission, his sense of purpose. This is the kind of man who's driven by more than material success or superficial milestones. He's building something that resonates deeply with his values, whether it's a career that impacts lives, a creative pursuit that challenges norms, or a cause he's dedicated to. He's focused on creating a mark that extends beyond his own existence. And for a Sigma woman, that kind of vision is magnetic. She doesn't want a man who's merely content with the usual path. She wants someone who's ready to add value to the world, someone who lives with intention. This man doesn't just add value to her life, he inspires her own drive and independence. He makes her want to keep pushing her own boundaries, to dig deeper, because he's also doing the same. She knows he's not looking for a partner just to share daily routines or casual companionship. He's searching for someone who sees the bigger picture, who wants to join him in the journey to create something impactful. And this kind of depth is exactly what she craves, a man who can not only keep up with her strength and independence, but challenge her to be even more. With him, she doesn't just see a relationship. She sees a future that's dynamic, purposeful, and unapologetically real. A life where they're not just partners, but co-creators of something far beyond the sum of their individual parts. Number 8. Grounded in realism with a streak of idealism. A Sigma woman isn't interested in someone who's lost in idealistic fantasies or someone who's completely jaded by the world's harshness. What attracts her is a man who walks the tightrope between realism and idealism. He's grounded in the real world. He sees things as they are, not as he wishes them to be. He's not easily swayed by naive optimism or the fluff that often clouds people's perceptions. He's experienced enough to know that life isn't always fair, and sometimes it's gritty, difficult, and unromantic. But that doesn't mean he's given up on believing in something bigger than himself. What sets him apart is his ability to hold on to an unwavering set of principles, despite the chaos of the world. He doesn't ignore the flaws in society, the pain people endure, or the unfairness that runs deep through systems. But even within all that, he has a quiet belief in something greater, a personal purpose or a deep, unshakable conviction that guides him. Maybe it's his commitment to a cause, his belief in creating something lasting, or simply the dedication to live with integrity no matter what. He holds on to his ideals, but he doesn't let them cloud his judgment of reality. He knows how to fight the fight and yet stay true to the vision. This blend of realism and idealism makes him not only practical but intriguing. He doesn't need to sugarcoat the world or wear rose-colored glasses to feel motivated. He embraces the struggle because he knows there's meaning in it. For a Sigma woman, this is deeply compelling. She's not interested in someone who's all dreams with no substance, nor someone who's so hardened by life that they've lost their sense of wonder. She wants someone who, despite seeing the world's flaws, still dares to believe in something more, and who takes action in line with that belief. This balance of grounded practicality with a streak of idealism makes him not just a man she can respect, but someone she can follow and build with. Number 9. Unafraid of her own darkness as well as his own. A Sigma woman has no time for a man who's only interested in the picture-perfect version of her. She knows her own complexities, her scars, and her shadows, and she's fully aware that life isn't all sunshine and roses. The only man she'll truly fall for is the one who isn't afraid of that side of her, or of himself. He's the kind of person who doesn't flinch when things get real or uncomfortable. Instead, he's willing to face those darker parts, understanding that real connection doesn't happen when everything is flawless, but when it's real. This man sees the beauty in her raw and unfiltered moments. He doesn't shy away from the parts of her personality that are a little rough around the edges or a bit unconventional. In fact, he finds these parts intriguing. Her complexity doesn't scare him. It challenges him, even inspires him. And it's not just about him accepting her shadows. He's done the work on his own. He knows his flaws and owns up to them. He's not pretending to be some flawless hero, and he's not hiding behind a mask of forced positivity. He's been through his own darkness, faced his own struggles, and came out stronger and wiser for it. In his eyes, perfection is overrated. He's not interested in glossing over the hard stuff or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. Instead, he's ready to dive deep and see her as she truly is, with all the rough edges and hidden scars. To him, her vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's what makes her real, and that's the kind of connection that keeps him engaged. For her, this is everything. Someone who doesn't just say he's there for the good and the bad, but someone who actually shows up, especially when things get tough. That's a bond she'll never take for granted. Number 10, keeps his ego in check. A Sigma woman doesn't have time for inflated egos or people who are constantly seeking validation. What truly draws her to a man is someone who has mastered the art of keeping his ego in check. While he's undeniably confident, his self-worth doesn't come from the applause of others or from having to prove something to the world. It's grounded in something much deeper, his integrity, his actions, and the values he holds within. This type of man doesn't need to win at everything. He's secure in himself and doesn't measure his worth based on being the loudest or the most admired in the room. His self-assurance doesn't come from dominance or outward recognition. Instead, it comes from knowing that he stands firm in his principles and can hold himself to the highest standards. There's no need for constant reassurance from the outside world. His confidence is quiet, unshakable, and real. For the Sigma woman, this is incredibly refreshing. She's used to dealing with people who either overcompensate with arrogance or hide behind false modesty. But this man, He's got nothing to prove, and that's precisely what makes him magnetic. He doesn't need to dominate or belittle others to feel secure. He simply is, and in that being, he radiates a calm strength that she finds deeply appealing. His lack of ego allows him to connect with her in a way that feels genuinely authentic. There's no competition, no need for comparison, just two people meeting on equal ground. This makes the relationship feel real, grounded in mutual respect rather than power dynamics or pride. With him, she knows she can be herself, unfiltered and unafraid, because he's already at peace with who he is. This rare blend of humility and self-assuredness is what makes him the type of man a Sigma woman truly craves. At the end of the day, the man a Sigma woman will fall for isn't one who fits neatly into society's boxes or conforms to conventional expectations. He's a rare blend of strength, depth, and self-assurance, someone who doesn't just exist in the world but actively shapes it with purpose and integrity. He doesn't need validation from the crowd, yet his authenticity attracts and commands respect. He sees the world as it is, without illusions, but still believes in something greater, something worth fighting for. In a relationship with him, there's no games, no pretenses, just raw honesty, mutual growth, and a shared vision that transcends the everyday. He doesn't need to prove his worth. His actions do all the talking. He offers her space to thrive, a challenge to grow, and a commitment to something bigger than both of them. He's the kind of man who sees her as an equal, someone with her own strength, independence, and drive, and values those traits not as a threat but as a complement to his own journey. For a Sigma woman, this isn't just the perfect man. It's the man who inspires her to be more, to push further, and to believe in the possibilities of what they can create together. In him, she finds someone who mirrors her complexity, understands her need for space, and still offers a bond that's deep, genuine, and unwavering. He's not here to play the game, he's here to build something real, and that's exactly what she's looking for. If you're ready to dive even deeper into the world of authentic, unfiltered connections where real strength and vision shape the future, then hit that subscribe button now. Join this community of like-minded individuals who refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Let's break down the clichés, embrace the raw truths, and build something incredible together. Don't just watch, be a part of it. Subscribe now and stay tuned for more content that will challenge, inspire, and elevate you to the next level. The journey's just getting started, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye, and stay blessed.